Already know by now, Casanova was indicted by the feds, by the Southern District of New York. And I'm going to read the indictment, parts of it, but I'll leave the link in the description so you could read it, go through it for yourself. 18 members of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang charged with racketeering, murder, narcotics, firearms, and fraud offenses. The unsealing of a 16-count indictment charging 18 members of the untouchable Gorilla Stone Nation gang with committing various racketeering, murder, narcotics, firearms, and fraud offenses. Brandon Soto, aka Stacks, is charged in connection with the September 21st, 2020 murder of a minor in Poughkeepsie. The U.S. Attorney says, as alleged in the indictment, members of the Gorilla Stone committed several acts of violence, trafficked in narcotics, and even engaged in brazen fraud by exploiting benefits programs meant to provide assistance in response to the COVID-19 pandemic. Because of that, communities across the Southern District, from Poughkeepsie to Peekskill to New York City, suffered the most shocking. As alleged in the indictment, a minor was murdered in furtherance of the gang's activities. FBI assistant says, as the indictment alleges, the violence and drug activity committed by these gang members threaten the safety of our communities or placed innocent lives at risk. Their unabashed criminal behavior, as alleged, included the murder of a 15-year-old and even extended to defrauding programs meant for the people suffering economic hardship due to the pandemic. And I just want to go down through the crimes, and I want to show everyone that Caswell Sr., he is named in the indictment, who is Casanova. On September 21st, 2020, Brandon Soto, to further the Gorilla Stone enterprise, participated and facilitated the murder of a minor victim and aided and abetted the same in Poughkeepsie, New York. On July 20th, 2020, Stephen Hugh shot at rival gang members in New Rochelle. Hugh shot at rival gang members to maintain and increase his position in the Gorilla Stone racketeering enterprise operating in the Southern District of New York. On June 12, 2020, Nia Austin, Dizon Washington, and Jordan Ingram committed a gunpoint robbery of a rival drug dealer in Peekskill, New York. Austin, Washington, Ingram committed the robbery in order to maintain or increase the position in the Gorilla Stone racketeering enterprise operating in the Southern District of New York. On August 28, 2018, Renee Thornton shot at a rival gang member in Brooklyn, New York, and aided and abetted the same. Thornton shot at the rival gang member to maintain and increase her position in the Gorilla Stone racketeering enterprise operating in the Southern District of New York. On January 12, 2018, Robert Woods maimed and assaulted an individual with a dangerous weapon and aided and abetted the same by slashing the individual in the face. Woods slashed the individual in part to maintain and increase his position in the Gorilla Stone racketeering enterprise operating in the Southern District of New York. In August 2020, Nia Austin and Shanae Outlaw, without lawful authority, knowingly used the identification of others to file fraudulent applications for COVID-19 related unemployment benefits and aided and abetted the same. 17 of the 18 defendants are in custody. Charts containing the names, charges, and maximum penalties for the defendants are set forth below. The maximum potential sentences in this case are prescribed by Congress and are provided here for informational purposes only, as any sentence for the defendants will be determined by the judge. Now, I want to run down the ones that Casanova is charged with. He's charged with count 1, conspiracy to commit racketeering. The maximum term of imprisonment is life in prison as to all defendants except Outlaw, for whom the maximum term is 20 years in prison. Casanova is also charged with count 13, which is life in prison, mandatory minimum of 10 years in prison. Count 13 is conspiracy to distribute controlled substances, and he's also charged with count 14, possession of a firearm in furtherance of a drug trafficking crime. Life in prison, mandatory minimum of 5 years in prison to run consecutively to any other sentence imposed. So tell me your thoughts in the comments. I mean, We all are familiar with or know about Casanova's past criminal history. You know, that's one of his. That's a story of his life. Now, as far as me, I saw the writing on the wall. This was going to happen sooner or later. I thought he was going to maintain distance from any kind of activity or any, you know what I mean. You're guilty by association when it comes to things like this. But yeah, I got more to come, and yeah, leave me your thoughts in the comments. I'm out.
Hey, again, guys, go to It's AGTV on YouTube. That's the homie, and he's got a great YouTube channel.